We're in Mishna Sotah, Paragimel chapter 3, Mishna Daled, Mishna 4. Okay. Eina maspekas lishtais. She doesn't finish drinking, meaning so we're at the stage where she's actually drinking the water that's meant to, to inspect her, to see how she committed adultery or not. So the Mishnah says, Eina maspekas lishtais. She doesn't finish drinking. Again, if she is guilty, she does not finish drinking until her face turns. Marikas means turns green, literally, but it means until she turns pale. Ve'enea boltais, and her eyes bulge. V'mismaleis gidin, literally translated means, and she becomes full of veins. What that means is her cheeks swell, making the veins stick out, which gives the appearance of her face being covered with veins. Okay, so basically, if she is guilty, things start happening very quickly. Vehem oimrim haitziua shoisatame azara, and they call out and say, take her out, so that she does not make the azara, the courtyard, impure. Now, what does that mean exactly? How would she be making the courtyard impure? Now, my understanding is that I should say it this way. Whatever the situation here is, it's not like if something happens, let's say she dies, right? She dies, which can happen, right? So a dead body is a source of impurity. Is that going to make the azara impure? Is that going to make the courtyard impure? I mean, the azara is open-aired. There's no ohel there. Being on the ground is going to make it impure, unless maybe in some way or another she'll make things impure. But that can't be what it means. But what it means is the following. Number one, when it says here that take her out, she does not make impure the courtyard. So the first thing they point out is this does not refer to the main courtyard. I mean, what's called the main courtyard of the Beis HaMikdash, because she was standing in the Nikanor gate, which is not considered part of the main courtyard. Rather, it refers to the women's courtyard, to which Nikanor gate belongs, and the rest of the Temple Mount. So the point is, she did not enter into the actual courtyard. She was standing near the courtyard, but she was actually by what's called the Nikanor gate, which was part of what's called the Ezras Nashim, the women's courtyard. Okay? Now, what's the concern of that all of a sudden they're telling she's starting to, it's very apparently she's gonna blow up, she's gonna die, and they say take her out. So why? She doesn't make the courtyard tamei. So the Mishnah explains, the Bartanura explains, accordingly, meaning being that we're not talking about that she's actually in the azara, in the courtyard, but she's in an area, let's say, before that, the tumah mentioned here cannot be the tumah of a corpse. We're not concerned about the tumah of a corpse because it is permitted to bring a corpse into the Temple Mount in the women's courtyard. You hear that?
Say it again.
A dead body could be brought into the Temple Mount. A dead body, again, we have to know which area of the Temple Mount that means exactly. But the point is that where she was in the women's courtyard, if the fact that she may die there is not an issue because a dead body could be there. If you're talking about in the actual main courtyard, that's a problem. Yeah. But if you're talking about before that, there is no problem with a dead body being there. That's part of the halachas of the different areas of the Beis HaMikdash. We call the Temple Mount nowadays. We're referring to a whole different area of the Beis HaMikdash. But when you're talking about, basically how the Beis HaMikdash was set up, where you had the Beis HaMikdash, the courtyard, another courtyard, what's called the Har HaBayis, the Temple Mount, all these areas had different levels of sanctity. So, halachically, if a dead body could be brought into this area, halachically, a dead body can be brought into that area where she was, in the women's courtyard, Shar Nikanor. A dead body could be there. So therefore, to say, take her out because she's going to die and there's going to be a dead body there, there's really nothing halachically wrong with a dead body being there. But there is a different problem. And the problem is, the concern is that a sudden fear of death might cause the woman to become a nida. She may menstruate. And a nida is indeed prohibited to enter these areas. A dead body can enter this area of the Sha'ar Nikanar, but a woman who is a nida, who is menstruating, she can't. Meaning she bleeds from her, I can't remember the word right now. But the point is that it's coming from her, oh my gosh, can't remember the word right now. But the point is she's not necessarily having her natural period right now, but out of fear, she could bleed like a woman who menstruates. And that makes her a nida, that makes her impure, and that kind of impurity cannot be even in that area. So when they're saying here, take her out, it's not because she's going to die, but because out of the fear of dying, she may bleed. That will make her a nida, and as a nida, she's not allowed to be in there. So it's not so much an issue of, again, now, the issue is not so much, doesn't sound like so much she's going to make something else impure, but rather, is she allowed to be there or not? And therefore, when they already see that things are happening with her physically, that she's starting to, basically fall apart from the drinking of the water because she was guilty, they say, take her out. Now, another important thing to point out is that the Mishnah reads that before she finished drinking, before she even finished drinking the whole thing, things started happening. Now, we had a discussion before in the Mishnah, what comes first? Does the drinking of the water come first, or does the offering of the mincha, the meal offering, come first? Remember that? Discussion about that. So now, if the Mishnah says, before she finished drinking, everything starts happening. Not if you still have to bring the mincha. If according to the opinion that says she drinks and then you bring the mincha, nothing happens until after the mincha is brought. That's based on a verse in the Torah. The mincha has to be brought for anything to start happening. So if the Mishnah here says that even before she finished drinking, things started happening, must be following the opinion that you do the mincha first and then she drinks. Then it's possible to say that once she starts drinking, things start happening. Now the Mishnah continues and says, Im yesh lo zechus. If she has some kind of a merit, the merit would delay her death. Yesh schus toila shana achas. There could be a merit that delays for a year. Yesh schus toila shtei shanim. There could be a merit that delays things for 2 years. Yesh schus toila shalosh shanim. And there is even a merit that can delay things for 3 years. Okay, so it's not just so again, potentially, let's call it, for being guilty, the water should work right away. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't work right away, it doesn't mean she's innocent necessarily. It means she has some kind of a merit that she can live for a few more years. Now, what kind of a merit are we talking about? What kind of a merit is it that could delay the effects of the bitter waters? And the explanation that is given in the Bar Tanura is the Mishnah is referring to the merit she gains by taking her sons to school to learn Torah, or by encouraging her husband to study Torah. It's very interesting. Here's a woman, she committed adultery, but she has the merit that until she committed adultery, she supported her husband to study Torah. So either that, she brought her children to yeshiva to learn, she brought her children to study Torah. The merit of the Torah study has the ability to spare her. Not spare, I don't know if it means spare her completely, but the Mishnah uses the word to delay it. And according to others, it refers to the merit of mitzvahs she performs. Not specifically Torah study, but other mitzvahs that she performs. They also could be the merit that will delay the effects of the bitter water, even if she was guilty. Even if she's guilty, she committed adultery. And at some point, the water is going to do it. It's going to happen. But she could be spared because of these merits. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Good Tavach, Shua Tov.